Chinese, which looks slightly better, but not much better. But so this was, for instance, the translation for us. So each time is translated. Now,
you're out of time.
Yeah, one of the funny things here is, of course, that what I always think is, if you look at the translations, why did they bother? Didn't they bother first, before they translated it, to ask at least one person to go over the text and correct the errors in the English? I'm nearly done. Okay, I want to. Well, I can finish it tonight.
You can go on and on.
Yeah, I have 3 pages left now. Okay, let's quick go over let's try to do it in 5 minutes. Another thing that I wanted to had spent some words on is the backslashes that we are always so proud on. Well, the thing is, you have arguments pro or contra that. I think they don't make sense either, because if you look at what happened the last couple of years is, suddenly people start making their web page and didn't have a problem with the angle brackets. And then suddenly, don't ask me why, people want to start coding the documents in whatever kind of ASCII format, using multiple equal signs or underscores or whatever kind of stuff to do the formatting, and using indentations, markdown stuff, things like that, which as soon as you would start to do complex things would look probably even more horrible than a badly formatted text document. I think we are sort of yo-yoing there. Like, okay, now we have this fashion, then we have that fashion. That will keep changing over time, I think. Okay. The main conclusion here is that I think that if we talk still about proper tagging or whatever of fonts, I think that again will become a craft. That will be long-term investment, things like that. It will completely disappear from the users and the testers. Okay, here are a few things that I mentioned a couple ones in the articles, that markup packages still have a lot of problems with, but are probably no longer relevant in our discussions. Yeah? Double-sided, no longer interesting. Remove the complicating factor. Pages, maybe the whole page model will disappear because we have one long page. Multicolors, forget about it. It's one of the most complex things to do in tech, but we don't need them on modern media. Footnotes, forget about them. Also one of the more complex mechanisms is inserts in tech. Yeah, forget about it, we can have rollovers. Paper size, and all kinds of things related. Are they important? I'm not sure about it. Floats, just put them there where you want them, on this one long page, yeah, or make them a pop-up. Margins, yeah, okay, this thing comes with margins built in, yeah, so do we still need margins? I read about I think a recent device that goes from edge to edge, but if you are in reading mode, disables this part of the touch, because otherwise you get a problem. Tables of contents probably make sense. Indices, also a complicating factor, probably go away. Bibliographies might also become pop-ups. Yeah, and we don't need to choose any fonts as designer because the user can change it anyway, and they might even be able to change more. So, what's the future of tech? To summarize, a lot of these mechanisms, from ligatures and whatever building to making up the page, complicate a lot of markup packages and systems, but they might as well not be needed anymore. Yeah? I think for the moment the tech systems we have can fulfill all the needs that we have. So the main question there is, do we need a successor or a new thing or whatever? I doubt it. I think if we make the thing that we have good enough, we can probably live on forever. Because by the time we have finished a maybe better system, it might not be needed anymore. Luigi and I are discussing a new version, Twitter text. It can only do 140 character paragraphs, monospaced, bracket wide, doesn't do anything special.
Random generated content.
Yeah, random generated content.
Have you patented this?
Well, not yet, but I put a trademark on it. So now and then there will be maybe a first market that is geared at e-books and whatever. Yeah, that's again, as I said, we just take content. We remove all the things like multi-column, all the fancy things. It can do longer paragraphs, but it doesn't need any more than itemization or whatever. And in the end, he's working on that now. He will make live tag, and there's a DNA-based typesetting plugin. We just put it in there, and it will directly project XML or whatever you feed it onto our retina. We have already this retina screen built in, and we don't need any rendering at all.
Processing, on the fly processing.
On the fly, yeah, why should we bother? On the other hand, let's end with a positive say. If I look at the active tech crowd here, okay, it might become hobbyism, or all these old people sitting together dreaming about how it should have been. Yeah.
Dozing off.
Dozing off like.
No, they wouldn't. That was creepy.
So, I think that say that we manage to focus on the things that matter. Say that we somehow don't get into the silly disputes. Say that we are able to make our point. I think we can still establish some kind of corner where we can operate. Because I'm convinced that books will stay. Not in the amounts and in the thing, how the novels and whatever. A lot of that might move to convenient devices if we have them. We don't have them yet. If they come, they will. Yeah. But there will still be, something like this. It looks nice. It's there. It probably will stay there for a long time. If
it is better to remember.
It's easy to pick up.
But it stays longer in your brain when you read it from the book rather than on the screen.
Not if I project it directly into your brain. Then.
Well, that's not my brain. Don't forget about my brain.
You need to have the brain.
We can work on that. No, but so I think to some extent we need to reinvent ourselves. As what is our position, what the user would need to do, etc., etc., etc. That makes a nice theme for the next conference. Yeah, reinventing.
The 40 seconds.
The third one. Reinventing.
The wheel.
Square wheels. Okay, that was it.
No question. There was enough discussion during the